Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. You've probably seen the episode 3 Acolyte news that there are space lesbian witches floating around. Not literally floating, but they're in Star Wars universe. And lots of people are saying, are they actually lesbian? Are they? Yeah, they are. It's confirmed now with StarWars.com. Obviously, official website. They have quite literally confirmed that these individuals are a couple. And everyone's kind of going mental about it. You've got Pink News just rejoicing, which is, again, sure, fine if that's what you want. It's just lame. Like, the whole thing's just lame. You're just being pandered to. It's just lazy. It undoes lots of stuff. It's meh. I don't know. I just think it's kind of crap, to be honest. But I guess now we know why this is the gayest Star Wars ever. So I'll just kind of clarify again what was said here, and then we'll go to the nonsense that is Pink News and people kind of losing their mind over the representation. I mean, you know, good for you, I guess. It is the lowest rated Star Wars product of all time, so maybe you should think about not doing that representation, because clearly at some point, you know, in a capitalist society, you do have to cater to the market. At some point. But, you know, keep going down this path. What am I, you know, I'm but a humble reviewer. Anyway, so this is StarWars.com. And they do literally confirm it. They quite literally confirm it. From the horse's mouth herself. So they talk about the witches and things like this here, right? But they say here, as the leader of the coven and mother to the young twins, right? Turner Smith leads the duality at the heart of the series while drawing on her own experience as a parent. So there's that. And it says, the filmmakers really allow me to play all the different complexities of a mother. Here we have this woman who is mothering twins. So we have this symbolic representation of two different and sometimes opposing ways of being and thinking. Her job as their mother is to hold space for that constantly, to nurture that. And then there is the fact that she's also the leader of this coven. So she's constantly needing to move between emotional, sensitive, soft ways of being that are required in order to mother, but also strength, fierceness, and hardness that's required to in order to lead a group of people outside. She's trying to impart these lessons on the children. It's just not good or bad. It's just the light and dark. It's not just light or dark. It's not just Jedi, blah, blah, blah. The world is multifaceted. So there's that. Oh, but wait, there's more. Another element of the duality. This is StarWars.com's own writing. Another element of the duality can be found in Anasay's partner in parenthood, Mother Coril, a fierce Zabrak warrior whose views are often in conflict with those of her leader. It was very wonderful to get to play with Margarita, where not only are we relating to each other, we're also parenting together. There's nothing that's going to... And they say there's nothing that's going to challenge your relationship like parenting. And in this particular circumstance, obviously the stakes are very heightened because Mother Anasay is also her leader. What happens when you disagree with the way that someone is leading the community? How does that trickle down to catalyze different moments that become explosive? I felt that when we were shooting it, so many of the topics that we're exploring are really relatable. Right. Okay. So, yeah, confirmed. Space Lesbos. And then we've got, yeah, the likes of Pink News just absolutely losing their mind over it. Lesbian space witches. Now an official, important part. They're important. Of Star Wars canon, thanks to the Acolyte. They're not important remotely. Absolutely woeful stuff. Genuinely woeful. Woeful. The fact that, like, this is what... Has anyone seen that clip floating around? I'll try and chuck it in now.
Power of one. The power of two. The power of many.
Like, what is that? What is that? It's worse than like a school play. What is that? My God. This is what Star Wars... They spent $180 million on this. $180 million. Anyway, so likes Pink News, you know, very obviously we're going to lose their mind over this. So, lesbian space witches are now an official important part of Star Wars canon thanks to the Acolyte. Let's see what they say. Newly released Star Wars series The Acolyte just made a major change to establish Star Wars lore by revealing that lesbian space witches created life from the Force before Darth Plagueis. That's right, they were the ones. They did it. They did it. I mean, I guess Plagueis has got to learn it from somewhere. What did he do? Was he, like, indebted servitude to these lesbo space witches at some point? Obviously not, because they're all dead. How does this make any sense? Who knows? If none of that sentence made much sense to you, you've clearly not read the entirety of the incredibly detailed and comprehensive Star Wars wiki site Wikipedia. But we have, so we'll try to sum it up. Ah yes, Wikipedia. Wokipedia now. It's also worth noting at this point that this article contains major spoilers for Star Wars The Acolyte Episode 3. No one gives a shit. Darth Plagueis was a legendary Dark Lord of the Sith who makes Darth Vader look like massive wuss. Frankly, he was extremely powerful and obsessed with immortality. I like the fact they then reference bounding into comics. We've read Wikipedia, but as pointed out by bounding into comics, you what? Fuck. In the 2005 prequel movie Revenge of the Sith, Emperor Palpatine talks about how his former master could use the Force to influence the midichlorians to create life. He had such a knowledge of the dark side, he could even keep the ones he cared, about from dying. So that's right, lesbian space witches are evil, because they're members of the dark side. Didn't think that through, did you? It's unnatural, remember? They literally say it's unnatural. The dark side is a means to unnatural abilities. Didn't think that through, did you? Didn't think that through. Also, where's the father to these black kids? Didn't think that through, did you? Oh my god. Woke people, so funny. However, in The Acolyte Episode 3, which dropped on Disney Plus on Tuesday, we find out that the first person to create life in that way wasn't Darth Plagueis at all. It was actually the newly introduced leader of a band of Force-sensitive witches, the Force Witches of Brendok, called Mother Anastasia. The Acolyte's first 2 episodes closely followed a pair of twins called May and Osha. One's also called, like, Mayo. Like, it's May and then Yo something. So her name's literally Mayo. Alright. May is on a murderous rampage against 4 Jedi, killing her first victim, Jedi Master Indara, in the first few minutes of Episode 1. Osha, full name Varosha, a former Jedi Padawan who ended up working as a mechanic, ends up helping a former Jedi Master, blah 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 blah. Anastasia explains that she used the Force to bring life to 2 embryos carried by her fellow Force-sensitive witch mother, Coril. Those embryos, you guessed it, grew up to be May and Osha. Oh, and did we mention that Anastasia and Coril are a couple? They aren't just space witches, they're lesbian space witches. We love to see it, especially given the increasingly virulent right-wing arguments against surrogacy for same-sex couples. There is actually an argument against that, to be fair. You know, from like a nurturing perspective and what people perceive to be relations and things like that. There is a genuinely reasoned argument against that. So it's not just right-wing stuff like it. Oh, the far right. No, there's a justifiable argument in terms of how it impacts on children's health and well-being. Anyway, moving on. Of course, we weren't exactly surprised to see this queer representation pop up in The Acolyte. It was always going to be an LGBTQ extravaganza, was it? I mean, it's only just popped up in Episode 3, and without StarWars.com confirming it, I wouldn't have said that they were 100% space lesbos. So, is it? Was it always going to be an LGBTQ bloody suck-off fest? Was it? Was it? Transgender icons Abigail Thorne and Jen Richards are both involved in the series. Thorne plays a character called Ensign Eurus, and Richards is one of the writers. Cool. Plus showrunner Leslie Headland is a lesbian, and her wife Rebecca Henderson also appears in The Acolyte. Yeah, she's fucking terrible. Apparently Amanda Stenberg is gay and non-binary. It's one of them, apparently. They, them. So, one of them. It's a joke. Yord Fandar is gay and says that he realised the truth about his sexuality when he was 13? What? Oh, the actor's gay, right. I thought they tried to say Yord was gay. I mean, he might be. Anyway, this is all absolute garbage, isn't it? But there you go, ladies and gents. Rejoice! Rejoice! Space Lesbo Witches.